Right, welcome ladies and gentlemen. When it happened, when Ike Perlmutter was fired, I said there and then, this is a bad idea. Ike Perlmutter, the guy who sold Marvel to Disney. Yeah, that's right, he owned Marvel. He sold it to Disney. He is the singularly largest individual shareholder out at Disney. Personally friends with Ike Perlmutter. I said it was a bad idea then, and now finally everyone else is kind of catching on. I'm sure people thought it as well, but individuals like Hollywood Reporter they just didn't really want to say it at the time. But now we've come out with articles like this: Ike's revenge ousted Marvel mogul looms as Disney proxy fight heats up. That's right, the proxy war is happening. Of course it is, because Disney are refusing board seats for Ike Perlmutter, Nelson Peltz, Trian Fund Management, everything. Yeah. So let's take a look, because when stuff like this happens, I mean, Disney they're up shit's creek at the moment. It looks like they've broken federal law. They've broken numerous state law in Florida. And they've still got this proxy battle happening as well. But when individuals start reporting on it, such as the Hollywood Reporter, it becomes interesting, because then it sort of trickles down. The trickle-down effect is very real here. So that's why we've got to cover it and see if there's any more sort of updates here, there, and everywhere. So let's take a look. Shall we? Hit subscribe if you enjoy content such as this, and turn the bell notifications on. So, last time Nelson Peltz and Trian Partners waged a proxy battle against Disney, less than a year ago, they laid out a white paper. Right? It was a white paper which deemed everything that they took an audit of Disney and how they're running things, how the business is functioning. And this white paper indicated exactly how they should change things, how they should move things forward. And yeah, I mean, it was fascinating stuff. So Trian said it needed to bring back its dividend, get its free cash flow back. And Disney was over-earning at its theme parks, gouging guests and not investing enough. Sounds like typical Disney, doesn't it? Now, Bob Iger would return as CEO in November, and then the stock surge that followed immediately from that called Peltz off, but also because Bob Iger agreed to the white paper. There's a quote here that says, "This was a great win for all the shareholders. Management at Disney now plans to do everything that we wanted them to do," Peltz told CNBC in February, announcing that he was dropping his proxy fight. And then immediately after that, quite literally immediately after that, they fired Ike Perlmutter. So indeed, Disney did tackle the majority of the concerns, but the dividend never came back. Free cash flow is up, sure, but it's still floundering, and the stock prices are still down a lot. A hell of a lot. So months later, Peltz is back, and while he was looking for only one board seat last time, now he wants at least 3, and possibly more, sources tell the Hollywood Reporter. The reason why he wants more is because he wants to enact real change within the company. And he can't do that when Bob Iger keeps personally appointing board members. They're just Bob Iger stooges. It'd be like me. The CEO needs to be accountable to the board, but if they're all appointed by the CEO, he's not held accountable by anyone. So the question on the mind of Iger and other Disney executives, not to mention much of Wall Street, is what Trian's case will be. Exactly what argument Trian, whose stake in Disney is valued at roughly $3 billion, intends to make. Beyond the activist track record of the 81-year-old Peltz, it's unclear. Disney's share price continues to lag, though it is hardly alone among media companies this year. That doesn't mean it's good. Now, Iger would say at the Deal Book Summit, "I'm certain that the board will hear them out in terms of what their plans are, what their ideas are. It's very clear to Disney's board that we have to obviously contend with them in some form, but don't force me to take my eye off the ball and lose focus in terms of managing the company." Sure. So Trian would say in a statement that it offered a chance to meet with the board, was offered a chance, not proactive, they're not giving seats, and that was basically done, and said Peltz would make a fantastic addition to Disney's board, which he would. Iger would say that the company has high standards for its board members. I mean, Nelson Peltz fits that. And that one actually number 12. They would have 12 board members at the next meeting, which is quite crazy, to be honest. But, I mean, Nelson Peltz does fit that. Now, if we scroll down a little bit and kind of see what's happening here, I mean, we say this here. So Blackwell's chief investment officer. Well, let's just sort of backtrack ever so slightly, right? There's a few individuals that are now siding with Nelson Peltz, right? So you got Dan Loeb's third point, 2020 to 2022. Sources noted that both times Loeb laid out detailed strategic plans, something Trian has thus far not done. In 2022, Disney added a former Meta executive, Caroline Everson, to its board at Third Point's urging. So trying to say that they're not quite doing what, Nelson Peltz is not quite doing what other people have done, etc. But another activist investor and Disney shareholder, Blackwell's Capital, believes that defending against Peltz's proxy fight will cost Disney shareholders upwards of $50 million and serve only as a value-destructive fog for Disney's leadership board. Not only that, they've got to contend with the fact that Disney has currently lost somewhere in the region of $70 billion in value. It's a lot. It says this: mindless drum-beating activism is not the right strategy for shareholders. Blackwell's chief investment officer Jason Aintabi says Disney's board is acting in the best interest of all shareholders and should be allowed the time to focus on driving value at one of America's most iconic companies without this fatuous sideshow. But Peltz's effort does have its share of supporters. Bill Ackman, the influential hedge fund manager and founder of Pershing Square Capital Management, was seen at the Dealbook Summit carefully listening to Iger. Elon Musk and other interviewees. Iger's remarks about Disney pulling its ads from X seemed particularly troubling to Ackman, who has expressed disapproval of Disney caving to public pressure, which makes sense. I mean, they're investing in TikTok. If you're looking at what platform actually promotes and leads to anti-Semitism, because this is their argument for leaving X, TikTok does. Absolute lunacy. If Bob Iger would carefully examine the facts, he would likely continue to advertise on X, but Disney caves to public pressure rather than do the right thing, Ackman wrote on X. Meanwhile, Disney invests heavily on TikTok, likely alongside videos of kids teaching other teenagers to be anorexic and worse. Yep, and also to be anti-Semitic. I'm sure Nelson Peltz can fix this when he joins the Disney board. So other people are siding with Nelson Peltz. I mean, this battle is just crazy. So looming it over all is Isaac Ike Perlmutter, Peltz's friend. Oh, and neighbour in Palm Beach. Perlmutter was terminated as chairman of Marvel by Disney this year. The company notes Perlmutter has pledged his shares in Disney to Peltz, and they comprise nearly 80% of Trian's stake, giving him more financial skin in the game than Peltz. On November 30th, Disney cited Perlmutter's personal agenda against Iger. This is a reason why he shouldn't be on the board, basically, which is dumb. While a source close to Perlmutter previously told THR that the former Marvel chief was not involved in Peltz's new effort beyond pledging his shares, an SEC filing from Trian confirms that Perlmutter is a participant in the Proxy solicitation. Amazing. Trian's last Proxy fight, it only alluded to Perlmutter's role, referred to him as a third party, known to both Disney and Peltz. Disney made some adjustments to its bylaws in November, which, while largely technical, could shine a light on just how involved Perlmutter is in Peltz's board play, with enhanced disclosure and requirements. And so this basically, Ike Perlmutter is going to wreck Disney. So during his 14-year run at Disney, Perlmutter's influence waned as the years went on. But the thing is, yes, his influence waned, but his points were pertinent, and they should have listened to him. His oversight was restricted largely to consumer products. The reclusive mogul rarely photographed, was pictured with Trump at the former president's Florida retreat. Iger wrote that Perlmutter was opposed to Marvel projects like Black Panther, Captain Marvel. He allegedly didn't think a black or female superhero movie would sell toys. I don't think Captain Marvel has sold toys, quite frankly, just as an FYI. I think Black Panther has. And later said that Perlmutter wanted to fire Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige, which was, I think, given the track record of Marvel now, probably the right choice. I'd say. It's that meddling while leading Marvel that has some worried. Should Trian's endeavour succeed, there is no silent partner in Ike, one source warned of Perlmutter. You're inviting Trump onto the board. He's proxied his vote to Nelson. It's so dangerous. You're inviting Trump onto the board. How did this suddenly become a Trump issue? These people are idiots. Absolute raging lunatics. But this is interesting stuff. Genuinely, it is interesting stuff. And it says a lot. I mean, this is Ike's revenge. This is. And said it at the time. Anyone with half a brain cell said it. And it's fascinating that these, well, it's not fascinating, but these mainstream media shows didn't. But there you go. I mean, Disney is about to get wrecked. They are facing a battle on all sides. Internally, externally. State, federal, potentially. Let me know what you think down below. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye now.